Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Paul here. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a beginner's guide for tech consulting. Okay, what does that mean? Essentially, I will be then sharing with you a breakdown of what are the best tech consulting companies that you can actually expect to work for. Okay, on my end, I actually had the privilege of working on a few projects with all of those top companies, plus working on one. Okay, with that said, also I'll be sharing with you what are the roles and responsibilities, let's say, that you can expect while having that, plus the workload and also the lifestyle that you can have as a tech consultant. On top of that as well, I'm going to be sharing some key tips, let's say, for you to actually leverage in order to understand if consulting is for you, if it's the career for you and the right career for you, and if that's what you're actually looking for. Then last but not least, I'll be talking about money, okay, because that's of course important. Okay, with that said, don't go anywhere. I'm going to be focusing a lot with some examples within the world of CRM and Salesforce and why, while talking about tech consulting, because it's the biggest piece of the pie. Okay, with that said, again, subscribe, join me on this journey, don't go anywhere, and let's start with the first one. Okay, then let's go into this one. So I'll give you then the ranking of the top 3 companies that you can actually expect to work for in terms of tech consulting, and plus I'm going to give you a 4th one, okay, as a bonus. Okay, let's start then with number 3. So at number 3 we have actually Capgemini. Okay, why is it that Capgemini is such an interesting company to work for? Outside of having a huge footprint across the globe, they also have this specific approach in terms of thinking strategy and thinking the approach to the business in a way that really involves a very tight partnership with the customers. They also do a lot of advisory work, so they think on how is it that they can improve your profitability, your growth, your sales, your marketing side, and they have a massive let's say implementation of Salesforce. Okay, so Capgemini comes into 3rd place. So the thing around Capgemini, I have to say that I had the privilege to work with them, and even with my mentor, between brackets, Che Lung, that now is a senior director, okay, while he was at Capgemini. It's the fact that they are really focused on the customer centricity. It's something that is really strong. So if you're looking to go into that, take a look then into Capgemini. Let's move to the next one. So number 2, you have actually Accenture. Okay, so Accenture is the biggest practice out there, most likely, okay, with over 40,000 Salesforce certified people. Okay, what does that mean for you? It means that if you're looking to begin your tragic, let's say, within this area, your path, Accenture is really huge in experience and different approaches, so you can learn a lot with people that are actually on the other side. Okay, also I had the privilege to work with Accenture some time ago on a massive transformation project that took like 1.5 years. Okay, they are really recognized by working with very complex business problems, very complex projects and implementation, and that is one of the good things around Accenture. Also, you need to understand that Accenture is the Salesforce #1 global strategic partner. The Accenture Salesforce group is recognized by designing and implementation and driving transformation across the board, let's say, and they are seen as a trusted leader within this area. Okay, also on top, Accenture actually works across, of course, the Salesforce platform, okay, with MuleSoft. So they were actually set as MuleSoft Partner of the Year Award 2022. At EMEA level, they were recognized within Tableau, also received a massive award there. So Accenture is really a company with a huge footprint, with a lot that you can learn from. Okay, with that said, let's go for number 1. So number 1, this year we have Deloitte. Okay, Deloitte is then number 1, and why is it that Deloitte is actually number 1? So they have this kind of industry approach, really focused on finance, insurance, retails, telecoms, etc. But also on top of that, of course, they have a massive Salesforce cloud implementation with covering several orgs, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Community Cloud, and the story continues, okay? Also, one of the things that they are, of course, known about is all of this digital transformation piece. So they play a heavy role on a positive manner on that front. So if you're looking actually to go into a company that is really focused on actually driving digital transformation, maybe Deloitte is for you. I worked with them while in the Netherlands, okay, on a massive project. The only thing that you have to think with Deloitte and comparing the three is at that moment in time, Deloitte had like a kind of a bit of a strict dressing code, so take a look into that. Also, Capgemini, not that much. You can be much more free, let's say, and then you have Accenture, that is a bit in the middle. Let's put it like that. Okay. Then, last but not least, let's talk about a different kind of let's say, of company, but also within the same scope of tech consulting. So here we're talking about a company that I'm actually working at. No, I was not paid to talk about the company that I'm working at, but so that you know, and I will share with you why do I feel that you should actually take a look into IQVIA, okay, the company that I'm working at. So they are a tech consulting company, and I'll give you a bit more in a second. So they do product, they do tech consulting, they do, of course, the implementation side of things, but they build also all of their technology on top of Salesforce and best of breed. Okay, then on top of that, IQVIA is actually very specific, industry focus, and I do understand, and you don't need to take actually my word for it. So let's talk about facts. Why is it that I'm saying that you should actually consider IQVIA as a very good place to work? Okay, first and foremost, they have 4 stars out of 5 at Glassdoor. Then 87% of the people actually would recommend to a friend. Okay, I would do that as well. Okay, then on top, one of the things that I feel that is really powerful with regards to IQVIA is that they actually took #1 on Fortune 500 in terms of the healthcare and technology. Okay, so with that said, this actually wraps up why I do believe that IQVIA is an amazing place to work. Okay, let's go for the next one. Okay, let's go then into the roles. What is it that you can actually expect to do while working on tech consulting? Okay, so we are focusing essentially on operational, let's say, consultancy, so focus on implementation, and specifically trying to give you a flavor of this focus on CRM so that you actually have an idea of how does this work. Why CRM? Because CRM is the massive part around tech consulting. Okay, so with that said, and taking the example of Salesforce, you have essentially 4 main tracks, I would say. So you have the admin, okay, so you are the go-to person, you are the one that gives the training, bridges, let's say, the connection between the users and the consultants. You also have to be someone that is really focused with a good communication, a good level of knowledge in terms of technology, but also good communication skills, okay, and business skills, I would say. Then let's move to the next one. So consultants, okay, or business analysts. Okay, so as a business analyst, you're expected to actually gather requirements, understand what's happening, giving the best possible advice, let's say, and actually making sure that everything is documented, that on this case specifically, that the client has the best possible advice together with the architect on how is it that you can actually move forward. Okay, then moving towards the next one of the areas, of course, that is really in tremendous demand are the developers. Okay, so as a developer, you're expected actually to work with more complex technical parts. Okay, so do Apex, if you're looking specifically into the Salesforce world, doing Apex, doing advanced automations, okay, as flows, for instance. Also as an admin, you can actually expect to be doing flows, but as an example, auto components and so forth, more stuff. And then lastly, you have the architect. So the architect is the one that actually puts the pieces together, so you can have solution architects or technical architects. Okay, and then if you go into a position of actually become a technical architect, then you are part of what's called 1%. Okay, so you are the creme of the creme of architecture and the creme of la creme of Salesforce professionals. Okay, with that said, this is what you should expect, those 4 main tracks, what you should expect in terms of roles and what is it that you do within that scope, but also just giving you a bit of more let's say information beyond that. As a consultant, you are expected to actually to assess problems, to gather requirements, to give advice, to help on strategic decisions, and also it's expected for you to actually to be able to get the buy-in, being the trusted advisor, the person that the people go to when you actually want to know something. How is it that we're going to be thinking on the roadmap towards the future? What is the best solution to actually to deal with this business issue? Okay, so essentially, and to wrap it up, this is what is expected for you to do in terms of tech consulting and in terms of roles. Okay, let's go for the next one. Okay, let's go into this one. So talking about workload and lifestyle, what is it that you can expect? Okay, so I'm working with consultancies for 10 years now in a row, okay, 90% of my time, and also I've worked on the client side and also on the consultancy side, let's say. With that said, I think I have a good idea of the lifestyle and workload of one end and the other end. So I'm going to be focusing just on the consultancy side. What is it that you can expect? Let's start with the good stuff, benefits, okay, or the positive sides, let's say. First and foremost, is highly flexible. People look to you as the one that actually knows, okay, so you don't need to fight a lot actually to be perceived as the one that actually knows. So this is a good thing. You'll get massive amounts of knowledge that can be derived from different projects that you already worked on. You can actually evolve to be a domain knowledge with industry knowledge as well. So focus on the marketing side, the sales side, the service, the integration, visualization, data science, whatever that may be for you. And then normally speaking, another thing that is actually quite good as a consultant is salary package. It's quite good. Okay, with that said, I will drop a link to salaries so that you can actually take a look into more details on how to negotiate and essentially how to get the best possible deal for you. Okay, with that said, moving forward, what is it that you can actually expect to have as benefits? So I'd say one of the biggest benefits is the tremendous network of people that you get. Okay, so you're gonna connect to loads of people, loads of companies, okay, and then of course it can come to a point that you are so well seen, so required, that it's likely that you're going to be receiving a proposal from the other side as well, okay, so from the client side. Okay, with that said, essentially this actually wraps up a bit the benefits. What are the things that I would say that are not really good, let's put it like that, so I'm gonna call those pitfalls. Okay, so to start from, there's a tendency to overwork, so you need to really be strict on the way you actually manage your life, and if you want to know more about that, I'll drop a link around balance and how to manage your work life on the best way possible. At least for me it works, so hopefully it works for you as well. Okay, with that said, then overwork is one of the things that you really need to be mindful of. Then I would say that is not very family friendly if you need to travel a lot. Okay, so that is one of the things. Of course, with the arrival of Corona, hybrid work, remote working can work from everywhere. Things are much easier, but on the days it was actually quite difficult if you would like to have a family. Then on top of that, I would say that unfortunately from my perspective, I don't think that let's say that consulting is actually suitable for trainees, okay, outside of the tech background or outside of the business background. Okay, so I think that you need actually to have a bit of business background or tech background for you actually to be able to succeed. You're going to be in a better shape for doing that. Okay, and I would say also if you are looking to get more and more knowledge, this is not really a pitfall, but I would avoid at the beginning actually working on a consultancy. I would rather go into the client side where I feel that you're actually going to get much more knowledge at that stage. Okay, and then after 1 year, 2 years, I think you're good to go for the consultancy side where you're going to be like going even faster. Okay, with that said, let's wrap this up. Let's go for the next one. Okay, let's go into this one. So the topic of this point is consulting actually the right career for you? Okay, so I've done a video around that, more into the details. If you want to check it out, I'm gonna drop there somewhere here on with the link, of course, so that you can check it out in more detail. So I'm gonna give you the high level. Okay, so what are the strong things around consulting that, in my view, are really worth it? So one is you're gonna get the possibility actually to work with the top of the top and the latest type of technologies mixed with business, which for me is actually amazing. You're going to be learning a lot. Then I would say you're going to be able, and this will depend of course on your perspective, but you're going to be able to actually to move jobs without actually moving. Why? Because you're going to be moving from a project to the other one. Okay, which I think is cool because after 2 years of working in a project, you need a bit of fresh air. So I think it's positive. Okay, then I would say that there is another thing. There is on most of the consultings, you're gonna have really a push for training and evolution. Okay, and that is really good for me. At least in my perception, I have a few certifications on Salesforce and also PM and so forth. So I think it's actually quite good. Then lastly, I would say that is around networking. Okay, as mentioned before, I think that the fact that you're going to be knowing so many people, and on the let's say on the client side, but also on the consulting side, it's really amazing because that you can actually leverage towards the future. It's like working on a top university where the network is amazing. So it's exactly the same kind of approach. Okay. What is that is not so good on working on the consulting side? So once more, is this the right career for you or not? Okay, so I'm gonna be just highlighting one point. Okay, so outside of course you have the workload and etc. I think that is more or less manageable. Okay, there are a few things that for me it's a bit more painful. Normally speaking, there is a kind of a lower team player mentality. And that is a problem per se, and also one of the things that it's not as good is as a consultant you go there, you do what you have to do, and then off you go. What does that mean? It means that actually you do not see what was actually implemented, what was actually built, being that from a strategic or operational perspective. While if you are on the other side, on the client side, you actually see the results of whatever was implemented. Okay, so that's one. Okay, with this, I'll wrap this up. Once more, if you want to know more about is this the right career, just check the video. Okay, let's go for the next one. Okay, to close, let's talk about money. Okay, so today I'm going to be focusing on 3 countries. Why 3 countries? Essentially, I'm going to be focusing on the countries that I get more visits from. Okay, so if you're actually beyond those geographies and you want to know how much you can actually get, okay, just give me a shout. I've worked across different countries and I can give you my take on that. Okay, so with that said, so today I'm going to be covering them US, I'm going to be covering then Spain and then Belgium. Okay, let's go into this one, talking about from the one that you're going to get the least up to the one that you're going to get the most. Okay, so what is the breakdown? So to start from all of those, you're always going to be earning above the average. Okay, that's a given. Okay, with that said, let's go then into the details, starting with Spain. Okay, so in Spain, and looking into the Salesforce world specifically, to give you a concrete example within the CRM space. So you have Salesforce admin, you're expected to get between the 22,000 up to the 35,000 yearly. Okay, so the average salary in Spain is roughly around 27,000. Okay, but so that you know. And then this is the lowest. Then you're gonna get up as a developer. It's expected that you're gonna get between 27,000 up to 49,000. As a consultant, okay, it can be on the marketing side, sales side, service side, doesn't matter. You're gonna be earning between the 26,000 up to the 56,000, okay, annual euros. Okay, I'm talking euros actually, so that you know. Okay, so then moving forward. Within the last one, architects, okay, how much is expected for you to get? So it's expected for you to go between the 38k up to the 71k annual, okay, so 38,000 up to the 71,000. Okay, let's go for the next country. Okay, the next one is Belgium. Okay, so how much is expected for you to get in Belgium? So as a Salesforce admin, between 32,000 and 45,000. As a developer, between the 46,000 and the 68,000, okay, annual, okay, and then as a consultant, between the 40,000 and the 56,000, and then lastly but not least, as an architect, between the 68,000 up to the 97,000, okay, and all of those numbers are actually the maximum ones, like 97 for architects, 56 for consultants, are just a number in terms of the indication of normality. What is the range? Because you can actually get beyond that. You have people that actually earn beyond that. Okay, then this is in euros as well, of course. Then to close, we're going to be talking about US. So how much can you actually expect to get in US? And here I'm talking about US dollars. Okay, so with that said, if you are a Salesforce admin, okay, a junior, you should be actually expecting to start around the 90k, okay, 90,000, okay, up to the 144,000 annual, and of course you can always get beyond that, but this is the range. Okay, then going further, if you are a developer, it's expected for you to get between the 99,000 up to 174,000. As a consultant, it's expected for you to get between 115,000 up to 184,000. And then lastly but not least, if you are an architect, is expected for you to get between 129 up to 193, 95,000 annual, okay, in terms of US dollars. Okay, with this said, hopefully guys you got an amazing session, and hopefully it was enjoyable and interesting for you guys. So please do subscribe, join me on this journey, give it a thumbs up. It helps me, it helps the channel, and also allows for myself to actually to expand and release, let's say, the message. Also do share with others that are actually looking for the same. Okay, with that said, that's it. I'm wrapping this up. Enjoy your day. Okay, cheers. Bye.